Hey everyone, breathful day. Just wanted to hop on here and announce that we officially have 22 breath guides that have signed up and that is currently taking the training. And I have another opening in November. November will be mostly digital, won't be online, won't be in person like this one. And after every breath guide training, we're actually going to do a breath dojo. So what breath dojo is, it's literally a 24-hour breath experience because this is a parasympathetic practice, so you can do it nonstop. All right. And we're having a session literally every 3 hours for that, in that 24-hour period. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam. And in that 24-hour period, we're going to have many different combinations of breath experiences. And I'm also allowing the breath guides to also lead. So if any of the breath guides want to lead, I'm going to give them the opportunity to lead. And on another note, the Breath Matrix movie has officially started in production. So if we were supposed to work together years ago or whatever the case may be, reach out to me. Like now would be the time to reach out to me. Like now. We have a Emmy nominee that's part of the whole album. I don't want to call it an album, but technically it is, but it's mainly a movie because think of I don't like comparing, but to give you something similar, what would be something similar or familiar to your ear? I would say Kanye's Runaway, because I haven't seen something like that in years, other than Dax. Shout out Dax. Shout out those types of great lyrical rappers, if you will. Let's not snug them under the rug, please. Shout out Dax. And so many other great storytelling Jedi minds, if you will. Jedi mind tricks. They're Vinny Paz. These names don't get talked enough. Vinny Paz. We may have blue pill or blue and red pill. Tapping. Love the breath of fire exercise. That's great. You can only flame that fire for so long. In terms of breath of fire, you can only do breath of fire for so long. That is something in the category of long-term, quote-unquote, sympathetic style of breathing. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper than technique. Let's go deeper in the sense of how do you communicate with your breath? Have any breath worker ever even gave you that question? How do you communicate? How do you converse with your breath? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. You ever thought about that? How you do one thing is how you do everything. How you breathe is literally how you live. You can tell someone is breathing into impatience by the pace of their breathing, right? And I see it a lot when it comes to particular people that come into wealth of power, either wealth of power, if you will, too fast, and they don't have a grounded, stable mind, if you will. You can see it in their breathing. You can see it in CEOs that don't take mental health serious at all. You see it in their breathing. I have meetings with them nonstop, so it's there. It's there. You see it in quote unquote in all walks of life. It's there. There's a correlation to how one breathes and how one formulates their reason for action. Because your breathing, moment by moment, is an action. It's a passive action and can also be a conscious action. All right. So with that being said, hey, Via. She's saying that conversing with breath allows me to be more patient and present in my breathing, in creating my reality. Exactly. Ooh, let's pin that one. We're actually doing one-on-ones right now, actually. And by the way, I am retiring from one-on-ones come the end of 2025, because I'm actually going to have a list of all the breath guides that graduated, that came in and out, if you will, on a page, and I'm always going to be promoting them. So if any of the breath guides have events, like I'll be promoting that. I'll be promoting where they're located. So if people want to be more in person and have a reference point, if you will, they know where to go. You're going to have one in Jersey. You're going to have one in Germany. XYZ. All over. So going back to conversing with breath, beyond the inhale, the exhale, all that, if more quote-unquote breath practitioners were to dive a little bit deeper in that sense, in the aspect of mental breath work. We have someone that's been in the breathwork space for 15 years taking my course right now, and she's wowed every time. So it's very humbling and very confirming, if you will, in terms of the path that I have focused on in the aspect of parasympathetic, homeostasis, and letting the breath lead in that regard. But seriously, how do you converse with breath? It's how you converse with breath is how you converse with your situation. Any situation. How you converse with certain decisions. Conversing with possible outcomes, if you will. Because your breathing is going to play one domino effect or another. Your breathing is having an impact, a role in how the whole algorithm is being manifested right in front of you. And how you converse with your breath is how you converse with your blood. How you converse with your blood is how you converse with your bones. How you converse with your bones, how you converse with the muscles, and they're all connected one way or another. Yesterday I was outside the park. I would inhale, had my back slow, listen to what it felt like. Yeah. And then she's noticing that you feel like the wind is communicating with you. Yeah, when you're in this state of consciousness, you realize that, hey, I'm not just exhaling from here, but the wind actually touching my skin right now, technically, has been technically part of your exhale. So why would I want to exhale doubt? Exhale nothing that serves me, when in reality, everything serves you. Stop spiritually bypassing that. Stop saying that I'm exhaling. Stop damning the breath. Stop tainting the breath. Because the more you taint the breath, it's like contradiction. It's like you're spitting out contradiction after contradiction, and people don't realize this. You inhaling the good and then quote unquote exhaling the bad, that sounds like an oxymoron. Doesn't that sound like an oxymoron to you? Because the exhale comes back to you. The wind that is communicating with your skin right now was once part of your exhale. We are literally breathing in Caesar's breath. Great book. We are breathing in Caesar's breath. Great book. Go read that book. We're literally breathing in the same air as Caesar. Breathing in the same air as all the ancients were. But it feels like people move and speak slower when you're in tune with your breath. Yeah, man. And that's what I call ninja mode. Because when I step on the basketball court and I literally say, I am one with my breath, I am one with my breath, like you just get into a zone, because not everyone is in that zone anyway. So the contrast, that's what it is. The contrast is there. You're literally, I can't really put to words too much of it, but you're literally seeing the layers of emotional and body language, if you will, because you're so in tune with your body and the resonance of it, and not many other people are at that point in time, right? And that's how you're seeing the slow motion effect. That's how when I'm on the court, I'll have like 5 steals, just like that. Because I can see like, oh, I know when you're about to dribble. I know when that ball is about to hit the floor before it even hits the floor. I know because I know where the trajectory of the ball is going to go based on the way you make a sudden movement. And I'll just take it just like that. I can blow by someone with just my first step, because I can see the pace of their breathing and how they'll like slow down, and I'm like, oh, that's my time to go. Boom. And they'll have to foul me. Either they foul me or how you're breathing in that moment is how you're relating to that moment. Because your breath is so information, so breathing pattern at that moment in time is imprinting on your vessel over and over and over and over again. And you're assimilating that and digesting that over and over and over and over. So when you're inhaling in front of chaos, if you will, you're technically inhaling that chaos as you're seeing it, as you're around it. You're in the same breath as that chaos. So why the hell would I want to just inhale quote unquote good and then exhale bad, and meanwhile I'm in a pool of chaos, then I'm just feeding more chaos for no reason? Does that make sense to you? I'd rather exhale into the complete opposite of chaos and find the solutions a lot quicker, focusing more energy on the problem-solving aspects as much as possible than feeding quote-unquote bad. Are you feeling me here? Are you feeling where I'm coming from? That is the psychology behind mental breath work. That's one of the psychologies behind how we converse with our breath. Like we were talking about in the breath guide training, how babies can have a potential of dying if they hold their breath, and it's called a holding spell. And a holding spell, right? You're supposed to actually blow on the baby. You're supposed to blow on the baby for the baby to awaken, but it's particularly your breath. Why isn't the wind helping the baby? Why is it the mother's breath or your breath that awakening point for the baby to get out of that holding spell? Why? That's how powerful your breath is. Your breath holds information. You speaking is technically one exhale out. Technically, it's an exhale, right? And what is happening for us to even hear the sounds, air molecules have to converse and combust, if you will, in particular rhythms for you to hear a particular sound. How wild is that? That's what's happening at a molecular atomic level. And that is the quote unquote communication, as the birds start to chirp over here. That is the communication, if you will, happening between atoms. That is the synchronicity that you witness more and more the more you're in tune with your breath in this way, if you will. That's a synchronistic connection that you can't deny. Because when you inhale, you feel it. When you exhale, you feel it. You don't have to lie to yourself. You don't have to imagine some imaginary energy or whatever. And that's real. Authenticity is way more, well, I don't want to say way more powerful, but it has a high level of consciousness, if you will. And what is more authentic than your breath? You can say love means X, Y, Z, this and that, but authenticity reigns way higher than quote unquote love, because you can quote unquote fake a lot of BS, if you will, when it comes to love and all that, right? You can't fake breathing. You can feel the breath. And the breath is very giving, and the breath can also taketh away, especially if you're treating it in a violent way. And that's the karmic loop. You're going to have to realize one way or another, that's the karmic loop, that you're going to have to look in the mirror and be real with yourself, if you will. Breath subliminals and being mindful of exhale when eating changes the addictions of food faster than any cleanse has. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, if you want to hop on here live, sister, and share your experience so far with our breath sessions, you're more than welcome to. Thank you, Nurs. Appreciate it. Hey, just because you can feel stimulation doesn't mean it's good. You can only hold your breath for so long.
Let's go!
Sister.
I caught you on the live. That's awesome.
Hey.
Peace. How are you?
Peace and harmony. I am wonderfully well. Beautiful day. And yeah, if you want to share your breath experience that we have a whole year ahead.
I know, it's
honored to be part of your breath journey in that
honored
regard.
to have you as a teacher.
But yeah, do share.
Yeah, for sure. I love your lives because you're just so raw, and every aspect you just connect the breath to, because the breath is connected to all. But in that last comment that I just posted, though, I've really, since our last session, I've really noticed a difference with the ingestion that we were doing, like ingesting the breath. And so I was just casually drinking my nut milk, and I was just like, it's interesting because now I naturally do it. So in the beginning, before we went to that session, I was using the subliminals, like the music that you had, and just putting it in the background during my fasts and just during whenever I was eating, to create more mindfulness. And it really, really helped. There was like something that like clicked, like you can kind of feel it, something that's outer that helps the inner. I don't know, with the music, it's really powerful. Breath Down Down. If you guys haven't heard that, don't sleep on that song. That's a banger. But yeah, so recently we've been talking more about, like, as I'm drinking, that relationship. And you talk a lot about when we're eating, most of the time we're not necessarily always addicted to the actual food. It's more so the breathing pattern that's happening with that. And so I've noticed that in general, and it's also just rewired my whole relationship with how I go about explaining this to some of my clients and stuff, like it's also, the breath has such a powerful impact on our, like on nutrition, on how we eat, what we eat, you know. And so yeah, definitely been a powerful experience. I'm doing like a year session with Divine, and it is every single week we learn something and dive deeper into the breath, and it's been so powerful. Like sometimes I'm like, what is he even talking about? But I just follow and I just do it, and I'm like, oh, that's what he meant. Like it'll click. Sometimes it's not always in that same session. It's through the practice, obviously. It's always in the practice, and in that cultivation of deepening the relationship. I've learned so much, and I feel like I'm such a baby in this world, but it's a whole new world, literally.
Yeah, I still feel
I
like a baby.
know.
I will always humbly say that the breath is still teaching me till this day. I'll always say
Mhm.
that, and that's what makes it fun, in that way. And everyone goes in their own patterns and in their own rhythm, if you will, bringing that breath consciousness in there, and that's what amplifies the overall experience with it.
Yeah, yeah. It gives life a whole new meaning. I feel like I'm connected to this world in a whole new way. It's been profound. So yeah, the breath don't lie. The breath honest. It's true.
Cheers. Ooh. And on that note,
Thank
I
you.
thank you for hopping on here. Thank you all for sharing the breath. And if you're interested in November breath guide training, DM me, or in one-on-one before I retire, DM me on that.
All right, peace.
Peace.